Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. In this video, I want to do some clarifying and help you understand the earnings potential that comes with futures prop firm trading, as there are a lot of kind of faulty misconceptions out there. I understand why people are viewing certain things the way they do, but yeah, I want to help clarify and then help you understand what is possible. And if you want to give this pathway a try, well, then here you go. But I just want to make sure you have the right understanding to begin with. So right here on the screen, you can see I am asked, so if it went up and you made 9,000, would you get to keep the 9,000? Now, what is this woman talking about? Well, in order to understand this, got to give a little bit of background about prop firms and how they work. So, prop firms, in general, they're all different. I'm going to just use the one that I personally recommend, and they're the ones that I use. I'll put links down below for that. But the way they generally work is that you need to first prove yourself as a trader. You prove yourself by going through a test. And then after you pass the test, you move into what Take Profit Trader calls a pro account. Again, all the different prop firms will call them different things. But the pro account, or the next phase, is where when you start to make money, that's actually real money. But right here, what this woman was asking about was, okay, so here's the test phase. So the way the test phase works is you purchase buying power. So you could purchase 150,000 of buying power, and this price is always going to vary depending on the current promotions, which again, use the link down below to get the current promotion. But at the time of this video, the current promotion is $252. So you would pay $252 of your money, you would get $150,000 in buying power. But now you got to pass the test. You've got to be able to get through things. And what she's asking about is, okay, well, in order to pass, you have to make $9,000. So she's saying, okay, well, if during this phase I make 9,000, do I get to keep the 9,000? I then explained to her, no, all you're doing during that phase is you're working to get into the pro account. And I should note, and this is the same for prop firms, during the test phase, it's all simulated profits. So it's not like the prop firm gets to keep the 9,000 that you made, because it's in a simulated environment. Because again, it's just a test. So don't walk away saying, well, that's a scam. They get to keep my 9,000. No, nobody gets to keep the 9,000. Again, I'm re-emphasizing this. It is a simulated environment. It's a test. It keeps their risk under control, and it doesn't make anything, get spin out of control. Because I would agree in this situation, if they're in the test phase, you make 9,000, but then you don't get to keep the 9,000, but they get to keep the 9,000, that would be very sketchy, but that's not what's occurring, because again, it is a simulated environment. So I explain, no, you don't get to keep the money. And I basically give all of that, what I was just telling you there. And she says, yeah, but you didn't profit from your correct upside trade. You may as well have played a stock picking game with fictional amounts of money. And this is where the disconnect happens. Well, wait a second. You had good ideas. You made good trades. You had $9,000. So you don't have to keep it. Well, it sounds like it's just a fantasy land, and you might as well just play, like she says, a game with fictional money. So as I've already explained, yes, it is fictional money, and there is no $9,000 actually. But this is what separates it from, well, this fictional stock game. You might as well just go do that. Well, yeah, you can go do that if it works and if it puts you on a journey to what you're about to see next. So in her argument, let's just say that there is some sort of fictional game out there, fictional money for stocks. Well, does that game lead you to here? So what do I mean? Because in the futures world of prop firms trading, after you do indeed pass the test phase, then you move into what are known as the pro accounts, and then you have a pro plus. Now, when you start to make money in these, you keep 80% of it. And then in the pro plus, you're keeping 90% of it. But in the sense of, well, what's your profit? What are you benefiting from passing this test? What are you benefiting if I don't get the $9,000? You're benefiting by being able to move into these two categories of traders, where when you do make money, you begin to be able to keep that money. Again, 80% for the pro, 90% for the pro plus. So that is how you benefit. That is the gain that a lot of people are like, well, I should get to keep this. What's the point? The point is to get out of this category into these other categories. That is the point. That is how you're benefiting. You're not benefiting. You don't get to keep the 9,000 because, as I've said, there is no 9,000. And I know I'm really reiterating that, but I want people, hopefully I'm annoying, where you're like, yes, I get it, Clay, there's no 9,000. Good, because that is a key component here, because I would fully agree and fully understand this perspective if there was 9,000, but you don't get to keep any of it. Because, like I said, at that point, wow, I made all these good decisions. How am I benefiting if you get to keep it all? There is no 9,000. You benefit by, again, being able to say bye-bye We want to say buy to this category here and then into these categories, because these categories, again, are where you're making money. So that is how you're benefiting. But now we need to, clear up, okay, well, what kind of potential is there? And this is where I want to focus on a member of my community. He's been through my training, and he's a trustworthy person. Not to mention, he flat out showed the screenshots, and he also admitted to something that some people would be embarrassed to admit to. Now, the member came to my live stream. So as an FYI, I do live stream. So come make sure you check that out. But they came to my live stream and said, hey, Clay, I just blew up my $50,000 accounts and multiple accounts, because the nice thing about prop firms is you can also get multiple accounts and then do copy trading and really expedite your gains. But that's outside the scope of this. But point here is that this member had purchased two $50,000 accounts. So they had two of these. So we got to do some quick math here and just understand that they had two of these accounts, and right now they took advantage of that deal, and we're at $119. So I don't want to, offend anybody with their math, but let's just make sure that this is all checking out as it should. Sorry, I looked away from the camera because I was looking for my calculator. I thought I had it open, but the app was not open, but here we are. So they had two accounts that they purchased, and each one cost $119. So they had all in $238. Very, very important number. That was all the money that they had on the line at risk, because if they were to quote unquote blow up their account, if they were to violate the rules, because yes, prop firms have rules to force you to focus on risk management. But what was the rule that this person violated? Well, with the $50,000 account, you're not allowed to lose more than $2,000. So this person went, and I'm not sure exactly on the details, but they ended up quote unquote blowing the account. They lost the $2,000. But the good news is they had this account. They had already passed the test phase and they were in a pro account. So the question becomes, well, were they able to actually make any money before blowing the account? Again, the only amount they had at risk was the cost of the accounts. So that was $238. Very, very important to keep that in mind. So let's factor in, well, what exactly happened? And this person, after they admitted things on the live stream, I was like, hey, I think I could use this as an illustration, because I appreciate the transparency. Thanks for letting myself and other people know publicly on the live stream that you did blow up those accounts. You violated the rules, so they took the accounts away from you, which I should note you can always get back. But then this person said, hey, this is what I have so far. So what do they have? Well, they have right there the background of the, behind the scenes of Take Profit Trader again, who I'm recommending because they have a very, very good payout policy. But you can see right there that they were able to get two $2,000 withdrawals, which again, I'm not trying to insult your math, but right there, they were able to actually get $4,000 sent to their bank account. So $4,000 sent to the bank account. And remember, their total at risk, their total investment, all of this was at $238. So let's go through these numbers and see what was actually the earnings that was made. What was the return on investment? And I say the return on investment was the $238 because, again, that's what they had invested in. That was the risk that they ultimately took. And then, as you just saw, they ultimately made $4,000. And I guess I don't know this off the top of my head, but I want to say this was probably within like a month or so. So not a whole lot of time. But let's see, what was the actual ROI? Was this actually worth it? Is it a waste of time? So let's keep our eye on that number right there, which is the ROI. And let's calculate. And right there, you can see the ROI came out. I mean, it's almost seems like a scam. 1,580%. Crazy. I actually did these numbers on the live stream, but I thought I was doing it wrong because I'm like, no, that can't be right. So then I found this site and did it just quickly on the live stream. I was like, oh no, that is right. Because that's just the crazy amount. But that is how it worked. Is they bought those two accounts, as I showed you, that cost $238, and that was their only cost they had into it. Yes, they did have to go to the test phase. No, they did not get to, quote unquote, keep the profits during the test phase, which again, those profits never existed in the first place. But then when they moved into the pro accounts, they began to make money and they started to keep that money. Yes, they eventually did fail. Yes, they broke the rule by losing more than they were allowed to, which was at $2,000. But all they ever had at risk that whole time was $238, and they had $4,000 in payments before they had those accounts taken away from them, which right there give you that return on investment. Now, I'm not saying any of this is easy. I'm not saying any of this is a magic pill or a holy grail. But what I am suggesting is you can have very, very little amounts of your money on the line. And if you can prove yourself as a trader, there is some very solid upside potential. There is some very solid earnings potential without doubt. So if you are interested again and you want to support the channel, then use the link that I have down below, link below the video, and it'll ensure you get the current promotion. Again, I don't know what it'll be. If you're watching this video a year from now, is it still 30% off? I have no idea. But the point here being is there is a variety of purchasing powers that you can get from 25,000 to 150, and then each one tells you, the test and how you pass it and all that. But it's something that, again, I think is worth it, and you have very little money on the line. So if you are interested in learning more, check out that link down below, or just go to claytrader.com/take profit, and it'll ensure that you get the current promotion, whatever that is. If there are any other questions, please let me know down below in the comment section. I pride myself, I always read comments, I will reply to comments. So if you don't believe me, well, just ask a question or leave a comment and I will reply to it. So I hope this helps. I hope this has helped clarify things and just ensure that you have a little bit better understanding of what the test phase is, how you're benefiting, what you're getting out of it, what you're not getting out of it, and the whole purpose of it. But again, if there are any other questions, let me know down below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, if you found this helpful, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel.